Hey guys, Jeremy here from School of Wok, Covent Garden. It's Wok Wednesdays once again, and this week it is salted egg prawns, one of my favorites. Salted egg prawns, classic Hong Kong dish. Actually you have salted egg prawns, salted egg squid, anything crispy wrapped around this salted egg, evaporated milk sort of sauce. An amazing invention. So salted eggs, really, oh, hello, eggs alive. The salted egg is essentially exactly what it says in its egg box. So it is egg preserved in salt. So when you're making salted eggs at home, you put your eggs, your duck eggs, into a sort of seal-tight container, fill it up with water, and then put your eggs in. And then you add loads of sea salt or rock salt. You keep adding salt until your eggs start to float to the middle of the water. When they're floating in the middle of the water, that's when you've added enough salt. Close that, leave it in a cool, dark room or space for about 30 days, and you'll get a salted egg. And inside, what happens is that the yolk becomes really hard and crumbly and almost chalky in texture. And when you steam it, like I've done here, after about 10 minutes of steam, it cooks that egg through, and the white also has this sort of chalky, salty texture. I wouldn't recommend eating it like a boiled egg. It's great for adding to rice dishes and things like that, or, in this case, using for the sauce. So you don't often marinate prawns or fish, but I've added a little marinade to this because we're adding bits of sugar here or there for the sauce as well. So I want a nice balance. So I'm going for half a tablespoon of light soy sauce, roughly a tablespoon of oyster sauce, to balance out the saltiness, a teaspoon of sugar. Now Lee has painstakingly pounded this black pepper. So a good pinch of that. Give that a stir around. And you can marinate this overnight if you wish, or just straight away as well. Gives enough added flavour. Egg white, that's going to help the corn flour or potato starch bind. So egg white over the prawns. And it'll give a nice, light, battery texture to the crisp corn flour. Much like making a sweet and sour, I want to get these prawns nice and super crispy. So you need, the foolproof way is excessive amounts of either corn flour or potato starch. Give that a good, gentle sort of mix through. And what you're looking for is that starch to really stick to the prawns, but the prawns not to stick to each other. Separate, dry, and dusty white texture. So I actually packed these prawns dry before I started marinating them, so they didn't have any excess water or moisture. But you'll know if you've got enough corn flour around it, because once you pick up each piece of prawn, you should be able to push into it and the corn flour not slip off. So that's pretty dry there. Done a good job, pat myself on the back. Okay, I've got some curry leaves and one bird-eye chilli. It's more for garnish than anything, but it will impart a little flavour in the oil just by cutting into that. Just setting up my beautiful wok clock. I've got to make a sauce. And the base of this sauce is that chalky egg yolk I've been talking about. Look at that. What a beautiful duck egg here. So for this, we just want the yolk. And if you are making this dish, then I wouldn't waste your white. Use the white for sort of a salted egg fried rice or something like that. Weird and wonderful Chinese ingredient. In the old days, this is the type of thing that people would eat because they haven't got much else. So salting an egg to flavour your steamed rice. Very resourceful. All right, so egg yolks, almost there. I'm going to use all 2 whole egg yolks, and you can see the sort of bright colour out of that. That's going to mellow out once I start to use the evaporated milk and seasoning. So at this point, you want to sort of mash that salted egg yolk into as smooth a paste as possible. You can see how crumbly that is. And so I've got my crumbled egg yolk. Now it's time for the liquid and the seasoning. Pinch of salt to accentuate that saltiness. A couple of teaspoons of sugar to balance that out. And then Hong Kong special evaporated milk. The Hong Kong Chinese really took to this type of ingredient over the Second World War, or just after. So 6 tablespoons or so of the evaporated milk. And what we want to make is a nice sort of thin paste out of this. Very, very weird sauce. Everyone's thinking, what is he doing right now? But trust me, it works. So just mixing that together. I like to do it gradually. If you've got a whisk, you could just whisk it all together. Roughly 6 tablespoons. I'm just going for enough where there's enough liquid to sit in my wok and wrap around my crispy prawns when I finish this dish off. Ooh, naughty. Okay, so sauce is there. Onto my wok clock. I've got my curry leaves and my chili that's going to flash fry, and then my prawns need frying. So we're going to deep fry these prawns first and then add them to my wok clock, and then we'll start around the clock. Never fill your oil more than halfway up your wok for safety, and then bring it to a high-ish heat. If something wooden, like a wooden chopstick, fizzes in hot oil, then you're at about 180 degrees C. When you're deep frying, just carefully lay your prawns into your hot oil. You can see how quickly they crisp up because of that dry, separate, dusty white texture from the corn flour. So first fry, if you are double frying, it doesn't take long at all. The prawns have had a couple of minutes just to dry off a little. Second fry, high heat. Get these super crispy now. You can see what that double fry has done. Oh, hello. They look good already. Okay, now I've got my wok clock in the right place. I'm gonna mess it up. Got my curry leaves and chili straight in. They crackle. High heat. The salted egg sauce. You can smell that curry leaf immediately off the bottom of that wok. Give that a good stir around. It's going to get quite sticky. And once it's vigorously boiling, and sort of drying up a little, you can see that it's starting to dry off a little, starting to dry off. Yeah, here goes, prawns in. Switch it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa, jumping prawns. That is nice. Whew, that is quick. That one's for me to try. God, that's good. Salted egg prawns. So salted eggs, one of those unusual ingredients. You might love it, you might hate it, but this dish just hits that perfect balance. If you like this dish and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe.